And it's lights out and away we go!
What's up, guys and girls, and welcome back to the F1 podcast. I am joined, as usual, by David.
Amazon here, and whatever it is you always say at the beginning of videos.
Yeah, Amazon here and my sister Young'un. That was the old one.
Yeah, well, that was always a Dutch thing, wasn't it? So it seemed fitting.
Yeah, the Dutch.
The Dutch Grand Prix and powerboat race.
I kind of want to liken it to. I wanted to liken it to Spa.
It had that kind of, and it had the worrying thought of going that way, didn't it?
It did. But one thing to say out of all this, obviously, is wishing Danny Ricciardo a speedy recovery after his surgery on his wrist.
Yeah, they're reckoning Singapore, aren't they? Which seems, because he didn't have broken a bone, hadn't he?
Yeah, it was his metatarsus.
So Singapore's middle of September. If they think he'll be ready for that, broken bones usually aren't something you can heal.
No. I mean, obviously, I saw practice FP2, but I saw the incident happen, and like me and David were talking just before we started, his impact didn't look heavy.
Yeah, I didn't see the session, but I watched the footage back later when I'd heard what happened. And I kind of think, number one, what's that? He had, 2 races in the car?
Yeah.
And then secondly, how bad must De Vries feel that he still doesn't get the call back?
Yeah.
They decided instead to go with another Red Bull Junior, which actually is possibly the slightly stronger idea. And I think in terms of the weekend, Lawson, he didn't have a spectacular one, but at the same time, he kept it out. He kept it pretty much out of the walls. And as far as I'm aware, he did finish, didn't he?
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? I honestly think for his first ever race,
He didn't do too bad.
he wasn't even the last of the official finishers. In fact, he was 13th. He actually finished ahead of Yuki. For your first ever time in the car, having been put into it on the Saturday, I wouldn't exactly call that a bad performance.
No.
You know, no one's expecting spectacular. I see, Yuki got a penalty, which, yeah, is what put him behind Liam. But still, the results don't lie.
No. Because, I mean, it's kind of, it was a bit strange of a call them, obviously, you know, to get Liam Lawson. I'm not discrediting his driving. You know, I'm not his driving ability. But that must have been one tricky weekend for him.
Talk about throwing you into the deep end, eh? As far as I'm aware, the lads had no testing in the car or anything.
No.
So, you know, I'm guessing Red Bull took it as seeing him as maybe a future main driver. So say, let's take an opportunity and put him in the car. I've said to you, I think the newbies lack race experience half the time. And I don't think there's enough opportunities for them to get it. So
Yeah. Well,
I'm 100% up for giving it a go.
Yeah, but you got to think. You know, you got to think of bloody Helmut Marko. You know what I mean? And it's just like, he. Yeah, that's the weirdest thing.
Go on.
Because he's not.
He's not.
Yeah, he is the reserve test driver. Obviously, he was supposed to be doing a he's supposed to be doing Super Formula.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say he wasn't an F2 driver, but he was. He was an F2 driver, but then he went on to he left at the end of 2022, and then went on to do Super Formula this season.
Super Formula, not one I'm familiar with off the top of my head, I must
No.
admit.
I'm not. But then,
Japanese open wheel racing. Yeah, he's driving for Team Mugen.
Yeah, not heard of it.
I'm sure you've heard the name Mugen before.
I've heard Mugen, but I've not heard of
Mugen is
Super
Honda's
Formula.
racing arm.
Hmm.
Plus, literally all the cars are either Hondas or Toyotas.
But
I mean, I'm going through it quickly here. Kamui Kobayashi. I recognise that name.
yeah,
Giuliano Alesi.
yep.
Is any other? A lot of Japanese drivers, not surprisingly.
Hmm.
One Brit in Raoul Hyman.
No.
South African, it says, but he's racing under our flag. Liam Lawson is a New Zealander.
Yep.
And then there's a Turkish lad here, and I'm not going to try and pronounce that surname, but it's Bolukbs, and there's various little squiggles above letters that.
Hmm.
Ren Sato as well. I wonder if he's related to
Went for
Takuma.
Takumo.
Yeah. Not related. Literally, top line of his Wikipedia, he's not related to two-time Indy 500 winner. So it's obviously a very commonly asked question.
Hmm. But I mean, yeah. I mean, qualifying was a bit of a mixed.
Qualifying was a bit mixed till we got to Q3, which became red flag central.
Yeah.
I thought it's Sargent first, then Leclerc. Now Leclerc's was a funny one because Leclerc just seemed to drive off the track.
What, in qualifying?
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, one of the not really a big upset, but one of the big-ish upsets was Hamilton.
Yeah, knocked out in Q2.
Hmm.
It was tight though, wasn't it, with the weather conditions and everything. It was a
Oh,
tight
yeah.
running one. I mean, when it didn't Albon top the session or something like that.
Yep. That Williams. It's either Albon, like I say, either Albon's driving the ass off it, or
Well, that's a big part of it. I also think it's the case. I think the Williams is down on horsepower, but stuff like wet weather negates a lot of that. Because obviously you don't need massive, massive horsepower in those wet conditions.
well, no.
So I think that's when you find in the likes of the Williams, and to an extent, I think that helped the Aston a little bit this weekend. So obviously Alonso, second place and fastest lap.
He's skipping ahead there.
I know I am. I'm making the point. I'm saying. I think wet conditions maybe help some teams more than others. The likes of the Red Bull, which we know is a very quick car, doesn't seem to do quite as well.
No. I mean, okay. Kind of. it was fair play to Logan Sargent until it wasn't, to be honest.
And the fact that he didn't go back to the garage for the rest of the race because I don't think he dare face the mechanics.
You know, okay, Liam Lawson, first time in that car, got knocked out Q1. Bottas, Q1. K-Mag, Q1. Ocon, Q1, and Guan Yu Zhou, Q1.
I mean, let's be honest, the only real surprise, you would say, maybe Bottas doing it. Bottas and Ocon, perhaps.
But then, obviously, Q2, you know, I thought
Lewis and Pierre.
I thought Sargent got.
No, Sargent made it to Q3 and then binned it.
Oh, he did, didn't he? Yeah, he did. Yeah, he made it through to Q3. You know, you had this is the weirdest thing. You know, you had Alonso who set 119.4 in Q2. Where was Stroll? I don't know what it is with Stroll. He
hasn't got the experience that Alonso has, number one.
Well, yeah.
But then again, nobody on the grid has the experience Alonso has these days.
Well, no, because
Kimi's got.
Kimi's gone.
I think we saw this weekend in those kind of conditions, experience plays.
Mm.
You know, Alonso's been there a lot of times before in these kind of conditions, and I think it showed.
Yeah. You know, you had Gasly getting knocked out in Q2, Hamilton, Yuki, and Hulkenberg.
Well, then say you had Sargent and Albon both got through.
You know, Albon was in Q2 119.3.
I think he topped it. I think no, Max got an 18.8.
Max got an 18.8 in the end.
I think the third one, it looks like Oscar was second, 119.39. 392 when he was a 119.399.
Yeah.
So it's third.
Yeah.
You know, Albon, well, we've said it before, Albon seems to have this ability between wet weather and also the ability not to use tyres.
Yeah. I mean...
And then say we got to Q3 and then pretty much immediately Sargent binned it.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, like his first Q3 appearance. Am I right? He still remains. He's still the only driver to have not out-qualified his teammate this season.
Yep. Well,
excluding Liam Lawson, but you can't really count that. It's a bit unfair to tarnish him with that one straight away.
Yeah, excluding Liam Lawson. Has Danny out-qualified Yuki yet?
Did he in them two?
Without
I can generally check this. I'll give you a second, I'll have a look for you. And he didn't at Belgium. Yes, he did at Hungary.
Okay, so yeah, so
Sargent he qualified 13th, Yuki 17th.
Yeah, so Sargent is the only one that's not out-qualified his teammate this season then.
Yeah, like I say, it's a bit unfair to tarnish Liam Lawson with that one after one race.
Yeah, you can't. You can't after one qualifying session. But yeah. I don't think they expect. Honestly, I don't kind of think they expect him to.
Oh no, like I told you, his best achievement for this weekend was to just finish the race.
Yeah.
To not bend the car. If you do that, your first time out, no team's going to argue. Even if you come last, no team is going to argue with you bringing the car home. Especially, say, even more so when he had literally got, Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Told you're going to be in the car this weekend.
Well, it's Saturday. It'd have been told after. I think it'd have been told once they knew what was happening with Danny.
Yeah, once they knew Danny was badly hurt, they'd have been making plans immediately. But I know these reserve drivers sort of go there with half an idea because they're there for that reason, but they probably don't honestly think it's going to happen.
No.
Because they'll turn up week after week after week and it won't.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it has.
And of course, we can't call Hulkenberg now because he's signed up.
And he's also signed up for 2024.
Yeah, I saw that. They're announcing. To be fair, it's a all right lineup. Is that? I think it's right for that team, innit? 'Cause it's lots of a bit of experience trying to guide that team and that car.
It's just a shame that the car's
not where it was last year.
Yeah.
This being the car that got pole at Brazil last year.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that, I'm sounding silly when I say that, but don't forget that was genuinely a thing.
Oh, no, it did.
They got pole. It was under strange circumstances, I'll grant you, but they got pole position.
Yeah, they did. K-Mag did. And it was just his reaction made it even more better.
Well, the thing is, to a team like that, it means so much because it's such a morale boost for that team.
Well, yeah, they knew that shit was gonna happen, and they were gonna go. They were probably gonna get swallowed, but it was just great to see.
Like I said, the record books will forever show that car qualified first. They won't say due to conditions or due to this, that, and the other. Still down as a pole sitter.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It was just.
So then obviously we'd had rain before. We didn't actually have any rain during quali. We had rain before quali. And then we had a drying session. Because I must admit, I didn't fully, because I was half watching it, quali, because of timings and that. But it was drying conditions.
Yeah.
Because there was a constant debate of, is he ready for slicks yet? Do we go for slicks yet? Is somebody going to try the slicks? I noticed again it was another race meeting without Martin, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Karoon up in the commentary box.
It was the sprint. Yeah, it was the sprint grid that K-Mag qualified.
Yeah, he was just
1 minute.
Say it's still
1 minute 11.674.
That was another one of changeable conditions, wasn't it? If I remember right.
Yeah.
And they just got lucky because they set their lap and then the heavens opened not that long afterwards.
Because it was K-Mag, Max, and Russell.
Yeah. And then, like I say, he will be further in the record book, so he got pole position.
Yeah.
But
it was just, I don't know, quality was just a mixed bag. I mean, now.
Saying then there was Leclerc's instead. We said S3 just like he drove off the track. It was a weird one. The car just sort of seemed to understeer for no real reason.
Yeah. And then, we get into the race.
What are you saying it like that for?
The start. So obviously for anybody that didn't watch, you had Max, Lando, Russell, Albon, and Alonso are your top 5. You had Sainz, Perez, then Piastri, Leclerc down in 9th, and Logan Sargent.
Yeah, those 2 couldn't do a lot in quali because they'd been the cars beforehand.
Yeah, and Liam Lawson started
last one, 20th. Oh no, because didn't K-Mag start from the pit lane?
Liam Lawson started 19th.
I'm sure K-Mag started from the pit lane.
Yuki got a 3-place grid penalty for impeding another driver during qualifying, and Magnussen starts from the pit lane due to the power unit.
Yeah. I believe the driver he impaired was Hamilton, wasn't it, Yuki?
I believe he impeded him.
Because I think that's the one we kept. Because there was one about him and then there was one about Hamilton impeding him back, wasn't there?
There was some that had happened, yeah. And it was just like, yeah, Sonoda penalised free. No, it doesn't. Why does it never tell you at the bottom of qualifying? Come on. It's ridiculous. It should tell you who incident, and this is the official site. But yeah, it was a very interesting start, shall we say. I mean, Max looked like he got away well, and then it was just like Lando, George, Albon, and then, Alonso. I was expecting that. I was expecting something to happen first corner, especially when you started seeing the lockups.
Yeah, you thought somebody was going to go straight on, didn't you? Look that way.
Yeah.
Plus, I think they were quite desperate because Max had done a very quick warm-up. I think they wanted to try and get away. Because they knew this rain was coming.
Yeah. And oh boy, did it.
Well, actually, no, that first one didn't come as badly.
No.
Because the one near the end of the first one, we had a light show, enough to put everyone on Inters. And we weren't sure if Max actually made the mistake there, because he held off. If it was Perez, he was the first one to blink.
Yeah.
And ended up in the lead on 14 seconds clear.
Was it Perez or was it Max that did it?
No, it was Perez.
No, it was. It was one. It was Perez first.
Because he came from, because he was about 7th or 8th, but because of the way it panned out, he ended up back in first.
I mean, I wouldn't even know how to sum it up, because I just at this point it was very interesting, but then you go around the laps, and then you could see every shot and every lap they were making. You could see these clouds just getting closer.
They're getting a bit darker, couldn't you?
Yeah, darker and closer and closer and closer. And it's like, is it going to just absolutely throw it down?
But then again, it kept being pushed back. You had like 10, and then you're like, 10, 15 minutes, like 10 laps. I thought it'd be another one of them where we're going to talk about it, and it was never going to happen.
Yeah. And then it was just like, it was strange.
Yeah.
Because as the weather started to come in heavier, that's where you started to see mistakes.
Well, at one point we had a distant shot of the main straight, and it looked like a blooming. You could see waves on it. You know what I mean? That's sort of like, yeah. And then we had the aquaplaning began.
Yeah, because you had. Is it Yuki?
Guan Yu.
Yeah, didn't Yuki go off first?
You go first, then Guan Yu, then Bottas went to have a look at what he was doing, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because Yuki, Yuki going off at the first corner still brings back too many bad connotations of Silverstone. Look, at this time he kept it on the ground.
Yuki, or you mean Guan Yu?
But
which one do you
mean?
mean?
There's a few, I mean, Ban?
Which one do you mean, Yuki or Guan Yu?
Guan Yu.
Yeah, you said Yuki.
Oh, did I say Guan Yu? I remember. You got.
Yeah,
a few you saw. Max went wide. Perez backed it into the wall, but luckily managed to not do any bad damage.
Well, not that we're aware of.
And then he hit the wall going into the pits, didn't he? Which was the other. And once again, managed to somehow not damage the car.
I mean, Yeah, because you had Yuki go off, managed across the gravel, got it on the escape road. Guan Yu Zhou just aquaplaned and bye bye.
Mm.
That was a hell of a hit.
Well, yeah. But look at that Tech Pro barrier does its.
Otherwise, he'd have had tyres flying everywhere.
Yeah. And then say just after he got in, you saw Bottas come off, keep it out the wall, but just look at what he was doing.
Then it was getting a bit stupid, and I'm thinking,
Mm.
are they going to safety car this or whatever? And then Perez got a call into the pits.
And they threw the red flag while he was in the pits.
Yeah. But.
Which meant he couldn't exit again.
Yeah, and he was sat at the front.
Mm.
See, I get why the teams get a bit pissed at them when they've got the cameras there looking. Because I don't know if you heard the.
Yeah, he kicked the camera out of the way, didn't he? Because he was starting to try and fix the back of the car.
Yeah, and it was like, do you mind sort of thing.
Mm.
And I get
But
why.
that's what the cameras are there for.
Yeah, I know. But I get why the teams don't want them seeing it. Because if it's a live feed and they're under red flag conditions,
yeah,
you don't know
they're
how.
allowed to fix the car.
Yeah, I know, but you don't. Like they say, they don't know which from which team is watching.
Well, they're all watching each other anyway. That's what they do.
The live feeds. I mean, Perez got lucky. He got a reprieve from the order because that would have dropped him to 6.
Yeah, but we kind of always knew because they always count back to the last known good sector
Mm.
or a complete lap, whichever one's the easiest.
Yeah.
Now, we'd already lost one place that way because obviously he'd gone off and lost the place to Alonso before all that kicked off.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he was down as 6th, wasn't he, when the red flag was thrown?
He was down in 6 when the red flag was thrown, but he was.
They put him back to 3rd.
Yeah.
Which is where he technically finished the race, although he didn't, because we'll get to that.
Yeah. And I mean, I felt that was quite an unlucky call. But I think they were banking on a safety car.
Yeah, I don't think they were expecting a red flag.
Yeah, that's why I think they brought him in.
Or at least, well, actually, it probably would have worked worse for him had he been able to get back out, because then he probably would have been set into whatever position he got to.
Can we just take a moment to talk about Ferrari? What the fuck was going on with them?
I mean, I can sum Ferrari up without saying a word.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Ferrari. We've come to that. I mean, considering we're going to their home track next week.
Yeah, but they weren't. That was weird. They weren't even ready with the tyres.
No. Well, actually, because Leclerc retired, didn't he? What actually? I missed what happened to Leclerc.
He ended up getting floor damage.
Oh, yeah, he flown across the gravel at the chicane, hadn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of missed what happened. So I just only realised he was out.
Yeah, he ended up getting floor damage.
Obviously, Russell technically was officially classed as finished, but didn't because of his collision with Norris.
Yeah, I don't get why they classified Russell.
And he was that close to the end. There were 2 laps to go, wasn't it? We found that in the past when cars retire that close to the end, sometimes they can still get classified.
Because it was a puncher that knocked him out, wasn't it?
Well, it was a puncher, but I think the team, he was going to be last.
Yeah.
There was no point putting the car back out.
Yeah.
You're just wearing engine, risking another accident. He was guaranteed last place because he'd ended up in last anyway as he'd recovered from the incident. So there was nothing to gain from the car going back out.
Yeah. Obviously, Sargent binned it
fairly early on and say didn't go back to pit lane for the rest of the race.
No, sat in a sodding deck chair.
Yeah, doing the old Fernando trick. Obviously, Zhao we've discussed.
Yeah, and Leclerc got.
Hmm.
But one thing I didn't know, that apparently Magnussen did receive a 5-second time penalty for
Yeah, I've
failing
seen that.
more than.
For more than 10, falling more than 10 lengths behind the safety car.
Yeah, I.
Don't think I've seen that one come up before. I know that rule exists.
I've,
I mean, we get hit by that rule in the game from time to time.
yeah, it's happened in the game. I've had it happen in the game.
But yeah.
But I've never. That was never mentioned on the feed.
Yeah, and obviously Alonso gets the fastest lap.
Yeah. And obviously Yuki ended up getting a 5-second time penalty for the collision. And Perez obviously received a 5-second penalty for
speeding in the pit lane.
Speeding in the pit lane. I mean, it's weird because they say, yes, it's such a tight pit lane. But there are... I mean, okay, this is going to sound mad, right? So they're coming in at, what, 50 kph?
60 in here.
50 at Zandvort.
50 they lower it because of the track, yeah.
Because of how narrow it is. That's 30 mile an hour. If you convert it. Yes.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That seems slow, but still enough to be dangerous.
Oh yeah, I don't think you particularly want to be hit by a car doing a...
No. That's the best part.
Excuse me.
Best part of him gone.
Go forth and multiply.
But yeah, it seems weird when you convert it because like some of them are 60, which is only 40 mile an hour. But it's still that to be traveling them speeds in a Formula 1 car. I mean, how much fuel must they be burning at that low speed?
Probably more than you think because obviously F1 cars aren't exactly renowned for being
fuel efficient. Because yeah, even though they're blasting around the track, that's won't be fuel efficient because it's up and down speeds. It's not constant speeds.
Yeah, it's. And the thing is as well, racing engines don't actually like moving slow. Racing engines are not designed to work at low speeds; they're designed to be flat out.
But you get why they have to have the speed limit on the pit lane.
Oh yeah, well Monaco's the other one, isn't it?
Yeah. Because it's a weird pit entrance. It's like
It's just because it is also once again very small, very narrow.
It's a straight circuit. But Zandvort, they've never changed the pit lane since the track. And yeah, like we said, Ferrari were just Christ. Mercedes had a strange call. McLaren, yeah. Williams, Alpine on the other hand, well, Aston Martin had a problem, didn't they, during a pit stop? Was it with Alonso? Or was it Stroll? Which one of the Aston Martins had the problem during the pit stop? Do you remember?
Yes. I think it was Alonso, actually.
Was it one of his tyres? And it's just... It was an interesting race. I mean, okay. We had the red flag and we were sat there, what, 40 minutes? Was it? About 40 odd minutes?
Yeah, about 45 minutes we lost, wasn't it?
Yeah. And we're thinking, I was sat there thinking, oh my God, here we go, Spa all over again. It was just ridiculous. And then obviously we got going. I was like, ooh, rolling start, good. You notice they changed their own frigging rule book.
No, why? Which bit are we?
Rolling start. Safety car.
Well, it was just like the end of a safety car period.
Yeah.
You ran into those rules.
They ran. Yeah, but they ran the resumption under a safety car. They're
No,
supposed.
we have done that before.
They're supposed to.
Because what that is invoking the rules of an extreme wet start.
Yes, but they were.
Which meant all the cars had to be on the full wet tyres.
Yes, but usually they're supposed to do that. Because Crofty had said they'd never done that. They'd never allowed them to have the intermediates on during a safety car restart. It always had to be full wets. He explained that during the feed. So they'd literally rewritten that rule because of the track condition.
Also, well, we've got to let the FIA have that little bit of freedom because you can never make a rule for every available possibility.
I know, but they'd rewritten the rule because of the track condition. Usually under the sporting regs article, it says safety car restart in wet conditions, which it technically was.
Yeah.
Was supposed to go under the extreme wets, but because they had let the track dry enough, but it was still wet, that's why they allowed them to go on the inters. And honestly, Crofty come up with something and I absolutely killed myself laughing. Because he turned around and mentioned about how quickly the extreme wets clear the water.
Yeah.
And how much and sort of what it was. How many seconds and how much water. And it was just the way that he turned around to Karun and it was on about it and then said, them extreme wets can clear enough water to fill a family-sized bathtub. And he must have done put an image into Karun's head because Karun turned around and ends up going, yeah, well, that's now an image I want to forget.
I must have missed that though. So because of the way it fell, I actually left while it was stopped because I needed to go somewhere. I watched the last 15 minutes of the race a bit later.
Oh, well, that's what they mentioned. It was during the red flag period that he'd mentioned.
Yeah, well, I missed most of that, I'm afraid, just because of
it was
timings and that.
He basically turned around to Karun and said, yeah, no, with me, it's basically, what is it? I'd get one of them tyres, get all that water in and get in the bath, and something like Karun goes, yeah, that's an image I now want to forget. And it's just, it was an interesting race, don't get me wrong. It was one of the better races, especially for the likes of having, yes, okay, Max won it. It was to be kind of expected, but to see Alonso there and Gasly there.
Yeah, nice for him, Alpine have had a bit of a rough time probably since Fernando left.
Well, and current team, the way the current situation is with the team and all the team management, and they can't seem to work stuff out. I mean, fair play. If we get similar conditions like this at Monza, that's going to make Monza very spicy and all.
I kind of don't want it because I like Monzas with a temple of speed.
Yeah, but might not happen.
No, it might not. You're right. I kind of rather it did. But
because right now, Monza for Sunday is showing rain.
God.
It's showing What time does Monza kick off?
It does. Give me 1 second. Please hold caller. 1400 hours our time. 3 o'clock their time.
Okay, so What day will that be? 3rd?
The third one, it's Sunday.
Oh, they may get away with it then. According to the Met Office, they may get away with it. Because it'll be 5 o'clock when some weather comes in.
Hmm.
So they might get away with it. But then again, they might not. The Met Office might not always be right.
Yeah.
So what are your, obviously, we'll do your I'll do your final thoughts now, and then we'll get on to the other thing at the end of.
Once again, the Dutch fans turned out in force and put on one hell of a display.
Well, it was sold out, wasn't it?
Despite the weather. And
Yeah.
just, so it was an interesting one. I'm generally quite surprised, I guess is the word, at the quality of driving we seem to have in adverse conditions these days. It seems to be far less being thrown off the road.
Well, unless you're aquaplaning, but that is understandable.
I mean, in general, you just don't seem to have the say. As soon as the rain hit, I was expecting it to look like a really skating rink, and it really doesn't.
No.
You had the start of the race where you had the lads trying to hold on the dry tyres, and yeah, they weren't quick, but they kept it going.
But it just kind of reminded me of F1 Manager, that bit. Because, you had all the guys that were on Inters had already pitted for Inters, and there's you crawling around the track trying to make it back to the pit stop. Anything else?
No, I think that's all me. Have you got any thoughts?
I mean, to be fair, it was a good race, yes, the usual party atmosphere of zandvort. And, fair play to Gasly, fair play to Alonso. Unlucky for Perez. Ferrari, well, they need to take a look at themselves, especially strategies. Fair play to McLaren, 7th and 9th. And Albon managing to get some more points.
Yeah. Albon's continued to just solid away, actually. He's got a good season anyway. I don't know where his future would lie. I don't know if he'd go back to Red Bull now but he's definitely showing a lot more potential than he ever showed when he was in the Red Bull the first time.
I wonder if he'd ever got a Merc.
I was thinking Merc or Ferrari.
I
just don't know if anyone would have him, because at the moment he's still got some ties to Red Bull, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I know he's technically been released as one of their drivers, but he's still got sponsorship off them.
That's because of some of it will be through his DTM stuff as well.
But I'm just not sure how many teams would be wanting to take him on with those links to Red Bull, whether you'd...
It was not... I can't... Like I say, I couldn't even see him go to AlphaTauri, to be honest. Because he's driving, technically, Merc.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, we said, funny enough, the other F1 podcast, they touched on this last week about... and I've said it on this podcast because I think it's a problem looming that right now we don't have a good answer for. If Hamilton was to say at the end of this year he's done, where will Merc go?
Yeah.
Where will Merc go? To me, right now, there is not an easy, good option. Other than try and buy Norris out of whatever contract he has with McLaren.
Yeah.
But he's contracted at least 25 out of memory. So, I think they've got this issue there, because I don't think there's you go back to the Mercedes junior teams, there's nobody there ready who I think will be ready for a top car.
I say you got Mick, but I don't think he's ready.
Yeah, would you dump him straight in? And, he had 1 year in the Haas, which, don't get me wrong, the car that year was not amazing.
No.
But didn't exactly cover himself in glory. Would you be willing to put him straight into the main car?
Well, he's a reserve anyway, so.
Yeah, but as we've proven in F1 in the past, that doesn't actually mean a great deal.
No, but if push came to shove.
Yeah. No, but look at it this way. We've had it before where it's not the reserve driver gets put in when they need it, when they need another one.
No, but what
It doesn't seem to have to fall that way.
No, but what they're going to do? Go back to bloody Stoffel Van Dorn? And they
Well,
can't.
that's what I say. That's the point I'm making.
Van Dorn's in Formula E. So they're pretty much stuffed.
That's the point I'm trying to make, is there's not an easy
No.
do this and everything's good option there.
Would Lando want to go to Mercedes? That's the thing.
That's the other question. Would you consider the Mercedes a step forward from the McLaren right now?
No.
Yeah.
So I can't see Lando wanting to go. Even if they looked at that, it's like there was rumours about Ferrari trying to poach Hamilton. It's like, is that a step back for Hamilton? Or is that not?
So I thought Hamilton might have gone for that purely because you'd be able to tick off the box.
That he's
You're
driving
doing for
for
Ferrari.
But
yeah, like I said, even as a non-Ferrari fan, as an F1 fan, you know what that Ferrari name means.
Yeah, but then it's who do you replace with him? They've got two. They've got
as much as I hate to say it, on performance, it'd be Carlos.
What, get rid of Carlos?
Yeah, on perform to me, Leclerc's been the stronger of the two drivers this season. I'm pretty sure the championship backs me up on that.
I thought it was, well, really? I mean, they retired him this race, but
actually, technically, no. Sainz is 3 points ahead of Leclerc.
Yeah, I thought Sainz was the stronger driver this year.
I wouldn't. I would have said Leclerc, but yeah, that's thrown me as that because that's not what I was expecting.
So, you've got a choice. Do you get rid of Leclerc, or do you get rid of Sainz? But you've got a pretty good pair in there.
Or do you not get the choice because there's somebody like Leclerc maybe see the opportunity to move to the Merc?
But then that would definitely be a step back, but in ways it wouldn't, because the strategy would kind of be a little bit better.
Well, based purely on this year, Hamilton's nearly 60 points ahead of Charles in the championship. So would he see that? I don't know. I'm guessing. The thing is as well, Charles is a Ferrari man.
Yeah.
He's part of the atmosphere. He loves it. So we don't know. We're speculating on something here that we have absolutely no basis to speculate, but it's just an interesting thought.
A very interesting thought. And have you got the page up yet?
I have.
Before we finish, this is the F1. Yeah, you can well and truly do that, boy.
Yeah, I've not had a good weekend. I don't know what. The thing is, I look at my things, I don't know what's actually overly screwed me.
Go on, use
I've got mainly positive. Yeah, but it's only 9 points I've lost.
Qualifying position. He didn't get classified, but he did get a race overtake bonus. Was it Perez? That's a problem. Yeah, you went for Williams though, didn't you? Whereas Alan did Hamilton, Verstappen, Norris, Alonso, Piastri. So that's basically giving him all points.
Mm.
Then he's got Aston Martin and McLaren on that one. I mean, you're going to have to come up with something special because Alan's...
No, we're not far off yet. We're a long way to go yet.
Yeah, but Alan's overtaken you.
Yeah, it's early days.
He's on.
I'm still well ahead of his other two teams.
I know, but he's on 3,026 and you're on 2929.
It's not a problem yet.
That's a problem. He's catching me though. I mean, I had a. That's weird. I should have. I didn't put my I put my 2 times on Alonso, didn't I? I should have put it on. Should have put it on Max, really. Because if I look at Alan, I only gave Alan 92 points. Yeah, I suppose. Where with Alonso, I got 124 points. And if you're wondering how I got that, it's because
2 times on him.
well, you got 10 points for driver of the day. You get 10 points if your driver's driver of the day. Obviously, I got 18 points for his race position, 6 points for qualifying. Obviously, 3 points because he gained 3 places. You get 10 points for the fastest lap, and he did 15 overtakes within the race. So that gave me like 62 points in total. But then it was the 2 times on him. But I didn't get a negative.
No.
And the next one is Monza. It's going to be interesting as Monza, depending on depending on what the weather chucks up. But we're going to end this one here. But don't forget, if you are listening on anything other than Spotify, Amazon Music, or whatever else, you know where you can get them. Obviously, don't forget to follow the podcast. And obviously, like and subscribe to the gaming channel as well, so you don't miss out on obviously any F1 content or any other gaming stuff that is happening right now. Obviously, thank you to David for joining me.
Pleasure as always.
And me and David will see you for the next one.
Next week.
Yeah. So until then.
Goodbye, folks.
Goodbye for now.